Hey guys, it's Elle Hayes. Welcome back to my channel. I know you were expecting a video last week, and I kind of have two, I think, good reasons as to why I didn't have anything to upload last week. For starters, I actually had a video ready to go, and when I got down to almost posting it, I decided I didn't like it and that it didn't really fit where I see this channel going. I think a major demographic that watches my videos wouldn't have been interested in that particular one, and I wasn't passionate enough about the video to force you all to watch it. So, today we have a book haul. You can kind of see the books. I know it's angled not perfectly, but let me tell you, it's a hefty stack right over here. And the second reason that I didn't post a video, there's kind of an exciting announcement that I have. I will be talking more about it this week, so I'll put my socials in the description. You can follow those for an update on what I have to tell you. It'll be music oriented, which is why it works. Alright, so let's get into this book haul. As I've mentioned in a previous video, I love to read. I read minimum one new book a month, but with my new job, I'm reading well beyond that. I'm reading closer to 4 or 5 books a month, which is really nice for a book nerd like me. And because of that, I decided I needed more books ready. While I have a beautiful bookshelf stacked with tons of books, I've read pretty much all of them. So I needed some new things to add to my collection. And let's start. So, the first group of books we'll go over are from j.r.r. Tolkien, which, if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, do I even need to say more? But the funny thing was, I actually picked up this one first. This is called The Fall of Gondolin. If you know anything about this series, this is the last book in the series. I didn't know that because I'm dumb and really didn't do my research. So I was prepared to start reading it and then realized, you're missing some books in this series. And that's how I ended up getting Beren and Luthien and the Children of Hurin. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but the U is 2 O's, I believe. There's like a whole pronunciation thing in the book. I've started the book, not very far, but it's a short book, so quick read. But for those of you who know nothing about these books, they're the same world as Lord of the Rings, but this is prior to Lord of the Rings. This is like the history of Morgoth and Middle-earth and all those great battles and stuff that took place prior to what we know as Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So, excited for these. I'm a huge geek when it comes to Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter-esque stuff. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people don't like them compared, but I live in that world and I love this kind of fantasy, and I'm really excited. So, I've already started on this book, and I'm sure I'll get through the other two within a month, if not maybe 2, but I will update you on how I feel about those later on. So, next book. The Odyssey, because you know you need a nice classic. I do have more classics later on to mention, but figured we'd do this one first. I don't think I need to summarize this for you, but the reason I picked this up, which continues in theme for some of the other ones, for Barnes & Nobles they make classic editions of books that are kind of collectible, and because of that I wanted to get that out of the Odyssey. I have Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales, classic fairy tales, the complete works of William Shakespeare, all in that classic look. I've added more to my collection in the stack that we're going to go through, but the Odyssey is a book I loved when I was younger. I read it, I think, first in middle school, and I think it's one of those books that you need to revisit later on in life, because you don't get to enjoy a book, at least I feel like I don't get to fully enjoy a book when I'm forced to read it. I feel that I get more out of it once I revisit the book later on in my life, and don't feel that I'm forced to read it and get something out of it for a book report or to have a conversation in class. So I'm excited to actually revisit this. It's been a while. So that's why I got that one. The next book we'll go over, Moonglow. So this is probably the most different of the books I got. It doesn't really fall in a category with any of the others. I'll mention a continuation of how the Lord of the Rings all theme stuff all went together. A lot of the books I've got kind of fit with one another. So I don't know an awful lot about Moonglow. I did not go to Barnes & Noble's to pick this up. I actually just stumbled upon it, read the summary, and decided I want to pick it up. So this book is by Michael Cabon. I don't know why I even try to say people's names. You notice I butcher them every single video. But this book has to do with the writer or narrator speaking to their terminally ill grandfather on their deathbed. And while it's a depressing thought, I just found it to be a really interesting novel concept. And I guess not to get further depressing, but I had a grandparent that lived with us when they were close to passing away, and we had a lot of conversations with them about the imminent death and how they felt about that, and I learned a lot about their life and all these amazing things they went through and adventures they went on because I had the opportunity to have those conversations knowing they were going to die soon. And I don't think you normally get that. I think as much as it's sad to lose someone, I was fortunate to know this person was going to pass soon, and to have that moment with them is something I'll always cherish. So in a twisted way, excited to read Moonglow. I'm excited to see the author's take on it, if this is looked at in a more depressing light or almost the way I see it, where that's a fortunate moment not many people get. So we'll see. Next book. So next book, but quickly to mention the next 3 books, why I picked them up. So this stack, I'll go through each of them one by one, so I'm not even going to read the titles to you at the same moment, but these 3 books all have to do with the Holocaust, World War II, so that's why I picked them up. I'm Jewish. I think that plays a little bit of a role in my interest in the Holocaust. Not to say you need to be in order to be interested in it, but I've always picked up books and gravitated towards books that were about World War II and things of that nature. So the first one was the Silver Music Box, which I actually picked this one up at a previous Barnes & Noble's excursion, but I figured I'd include it in this one since I haven't gotten around to reading the book yet, and it fit in the theme of the other 2, so I figured you wouldn't mind. So this book has to do with a keepsake that was passed along in a family, and how that has a lot to do with their past and how this family went through tremendous hardships during the Holocaust. But I specifically picked it up because it's called The Silver Music Box, and being a musician and this being related to the Holocaust, I felt, why not? I need to have this book. Then the next one that's Holocaust related, The Women in the Castle. I grabbed this because the title reminded me of The Man in the High Castle, which I believe is a book/book series, and I know it's a TV show that has to do with Hitler, so because of that, this name jumped out at me. This book has to do with 3 women connected in some way by the Holocaust. I believe this is at the end of World War II. I don't know the specifics of this book. I don't really want to give everything away by giving you 2 in-depth summaries. I don't think that's why you're here. I think you're here to see interesting books that maybe I was intrigued by, and you might be as well. That's why I picked up this book. And then the last one, that trio, I actually didn't even notice. My mom saw this book and told me I had to get it, and she was right. This is called The Perfect Horse, also World War II. This had to do with a mission to rescue priceless stallions that had been kidnapped by the Nazis. So I don't think you can see, maybe you can see the clock up there, and maybe you can see a little bit of this picture, but I love horses. I used to ride and compete, so a book that had to do with some very important or priceless horses that were kidnapped by the Nazis seemed like a book that I'd be interested in, so yeah, that's why I grabbed that one. And then these three that could have gone with the Odyssey, but they're heftier and weren't gonna sit nicely in that part of the stack. So these are three more of the classics. The look is like this classics collectible look that Barnes & Noble's been doing. Only really two of them I guess you could consider classics. But the first one is Murder Mayhem Short Stories, Gothic Fantasy. I used to really like murder mysteries, which I know there is a collectible one of murder mysteries that I'll probably pick up soon as well. When I was younger, my mom would give me murder mysteries. I think they were called 10-minute murder mysteries. It might be even less. But I would read one murder mystery a night, and this kind of reminds me of that, so that's why I picked that one up. And I feel like some of you are going to laugh at me for this, but this is the Constitution of the United States of America. Why not? I just felt like this needed to be in my collection. It also says, and selected writings of the Founding Fathers, so a little more than just the Constitution, but it looks nice. It'll fit nicely in with my collection. Felt like, why not? Then the last one of those, this is the complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe. And I'm a huge lover of Edgar Allan Poe's work. Obviously, The Raven, Quoth the Raven. I actually have not read a lot of his works. The only writer I really was obsessed with when I was younger was William Shakespeare, as cliche as that is. I remember in middle school, not an essay, but pulling apart The Telltale Heart in a class, and that made Edgar Allan Poe really stick with me as a phenomenal writer. So why not have the completed works? The last two things. I know I feel like I've said that a lot, but this is actually the last two things. Last three. I should just stop talking. This will be quick though, since these don't really need a summary, but in my favorites video, I mentioned really getting into the Sandman universe. I started reading House of Whispers, The Dreaming, Books of Magic. There might be more, but that'll be a different video. But I picked up 3 graphic novels from the Sandman universe. The first one's Overture, second one Preludes and Nocturnes, and the third one Endless Nights. I'm gonna be honest, as much as I am kind of a nerd, I'm completely new to the world of comics and graphic novels, so I couldn't really tell you the order all these are supposed to be read in, besides what the backs might tell me, but I don't really know what makes all these distinct, don't really know where they fall in line in the storyline of the Sandman universe, but I've been obsessed with the Sandman universe since starting reading the comics that I figured I'm probably gonna like the graphic novels. And I mean, just stunning artwork. And I know there are a lot of covers that have specific artists, so I can't go by the covers. I know people have been telling me that, but the covers are also really beautiful. Yeah, so excited to read the 3 of these. Read, look at, fall in love with, who knows. Well, that was my book haul. I hope you liked it. I hope you found something interesting. Maybe you'll go and pick up one of these books. Maybe you think my taste is weird. It's great. But if you have any book suggestions for me, I would love to hear it because I'm obsessed. Probably start purchasing stuff on my Fire tablet. Is that what it's called? Because I've clearly run out of space in my bookshelf and I have a problem with getting rid of any of the books. So we'll probably need to start getting digital versions of things, but let me know. Any books you have in mind, any comments, if you've read any of the books I mentioned, let me know how you feel about all of them. Well, that'll do it for this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See ya!